Okay, we don't know about a multiplier for the y-interval 0, 4. Because all I said was a parabola with this. Now, we can see easily what the multiplier would be for this function. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay? We're going to have a multiplier. But we don't know that. Okay, remember there are three things you do to relabel your basic functions. Okay, there's a fourth that you use mostly with the exponential function. We'll use that. We'll get that when we get deeper into exponential functions. Okay. Now there's a multiplier for the x-axis. We haven't talked about that. But we don't know what the multiplier is there, but we do know that the vertex has to go from 0, 0 to 3, negative 10. Okay? I'm going to say we've got to add negative 10 to the y-interval, whatever y-interval, and negative 3 to the x-interval to move the vertex. Negative 10. Okay? Now, just like with the order of operations, in order to get this graph, you got to do the multiplier. And you got to do the multiplier first before you add numbers to your variables. Okay? So, what about the multiplier? Okay. You got to do that first. Okay? So we know what we got to do with the x-interval and the y-interval. We got to start with the multiplier. Well, the multiplier is easy. Multiplier is A. Okay? For example, right, yeah. 0,4 of the y-axis. Multiply by 3, we get the interval 0, 12. Right? For the interval 0, 12 of the y-axis, we add -10 to get -10, 2.
I'm sure you'll. This will get in trouble. He probably was trying to.
Get -10, 2. I mean, sorry. For the interval -2, 2 of the x-axis, we add -3 to get interval -5, -1. So what's that look like? It means we have this. These are in parentheses, and I really want to make that a dotted line because that's how I want you to do these. So let me fix that before we go on. Okay. You need to get in the habit, and so do I. Okay, so here's our x, here's our y. Put those in parentheses because that's just our starting function. Put the -2 here in parentheses. Put the 2 here in parentheses. Put the 4 here in parentheses. Then we're going to have points here. And I'm not going to go through all the details of labeling because you know what to do there. So we get our points, and now we draw a graph. Okay? And now we keep this curve. We just move things around. Of course, I don't know how I'm going to move -2 here to -5 because I didn't leave myself room. Okay? But I'm going to kind of let you do that. Okay, so then I'm going to relabel the y-axis. Okay, I'm going to relabel it now to 0 to 12. Okay, multiplier by 3, right? We use a multiplier of 3, we multiply by 3. Okay, so there's 12. Then we add -10 to the interval 0, 12. So now the 12 isn't there anymore, we add a -10. I'll go ahead and say, okay, well then that's going to be 2. 12 minus 10 is 2, right? And then we need to come down here to -10. Well, if that's 12, then -12 would be here, so -10 would be about here. Okay? Then, get strategy for drawing this. I'm not sure I'm going to indicate this very well, but okay. This interval becomes -5, -1. Actually, I don't have to move it over, I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, so we're gonna get -5 here, -1 here. Okay, so there are my intervals. All I've got to do is show you where the axes are. Well, let's see, -5 here and -1 here, then halfway between would be -3, and then we'd have -4 here and -2 here. And I must have done something wrong. Okay, my day for making mistakes. That's kind of every day.
We add just plain 3.
Should have added 3, not added -3 to the x interval. And that'll be the vertex, so where did I add the 3? I gotta add 3, not -5 and -1. Apologies for earlier visualization on my part. We get 1, 5. Okay? So again, what I got didn't make sense. Gotta fix it. Okay, so this -2 becomes 1, 2 becomes 5. We got 3 here, we got 2 here, we got 4 here. Got to draw the axes. Okay, well, the x-axis goes through 0, which is going to be to the left of here, and that's where my problem's going to be. Okay? I can't draw the x-axis because it's over here. The y-axis I can draw. If this is 2 and this is -10, then, well, my units, there's 12. So this would be like 6. This would be 9. This would be 3. When we do the multiplier, then we subtract 10, we get -1 here, -4 here, and -7 here. And let's label that. -10 should be here, not here. Okay. So 0 is going to be closer to 2 than 1. So x equals 0 is going to be here. So here's going to be your x-axis. Here's your vertex, and here are your zeros. Your zeros here, kind of close to -1. You got a 0 over here, kind of close to 5. Okay? And it's -1.2 and 4.8. So this is totally consistent with the graph we just had. Can't do the x-axis. But the first problem in your homework is going to be run through these steps, do the relabeling, and so forth. Then I'm going to give you another problem to do the same thing with. Okay? Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.